Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Harry, I can't tell you the last time that I've ever gotten on the radio. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this has never happened to me before in 15 years of doing this, where I've gotten on the air and seriously said this. Now, we've had jokes and we've had fun before about, who could you take and who would you knock out in the fictitious celebrity death matches and other things that we've thrown. But I don't think that I have ever in my 15-year career, and I would never use the term illustrious to define it, said what I'm about to say.
Infamous.
Yes.
Is more.
Infamous
is
a
perfect. better adjective.
Shander, El Guapo, those are the two infamous names that come to mind.
El Guapo?
Yeah, whatever you think of infamous, right? Famous versus infamous, El Guapo, Three Amigos.
Oh,
I
yeah,
digress.
okay.
I
right.
digress.
Yeah,
I have never, I think, said this, but I'm about to. I want to punch that guy in Kansas City square in the mouth. I want to knock his jaw loose.
Kevin Keitzman,
I
think
want
is how
to
you
show
say
up
his name.
to that guy's work and wait for him to come out and question what the hell he's thinking. And before he gets it out there, just get one pop right across his jaw.
No,
I
why
would
is
love
that?
to do
Because
that.
of what he did to our industry yesterday?
Yes.
He makes us all look bad.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Way more than the issues, the egregious comments that came out of his mouth about Andy Reid, which should never go from brain to mouth to microphone. But yes, the continued black eye. And, here's the crazy thing about it, is that this idiot, this jackass is probably going to get fired for that comment. And then some program director is going to get a Woody and look and say, you know what? I'm going to bring that guy in.
Right.
And there's going to
get
be
us some buzz.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to this thing, but chances are you have been because you're a very perceptive individual.
Well, actually, the guys
much.
at Branded Sports, that's where I saw it.
Well, I'm not even saying about the Kansas City thing. I'm saying just our business in general. There is nothing that you can point to. There is no data. There is no empirical number that you can point to in any measuring device that captures people listening to the radio that would point to you, not you, Harry, but you out there saying something offensive, bigoted, over the top, to the point in which this guy comparing Andy Reid's son's death to not being able to handle Tyreek Hill, and that correlating over to ratings. And that correlating over to people listening to a sports talk radio host because they want to get shocked.
Yeah,
it
shock.
It doesn't correlate.
No, those guys, I mean, there's a couple of them still left in the industry, scattered around the country. And they keep getting new jobs every 6 months because they come in, like you just said, some PD will be like, man, I need some buzz in my marketplace. Maybe I'm going up against a strong, station that's been around, a heritage type station.
Yes.
We're trying to gain some market share. So I'm going to bring in this loudmouth, who's going to say crazy things and get everybody all in an uproar, and we'll get some buzz. And they will get buzz. But then eventually the guy says something that he gets fired for, and then you're starting over again. And that guy gets another job 6-9 months later in another market, in another time zone.
It's amazing.
And you just keep, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. Lather, rinse, repeat.
I don't ever want to be those guys.
No, I don't ever want to be lathered up, making ridiculous, over-the-top sentences, and then have to – you can't live like that.
No.
That's like the guy in the movie sleeping with a gun under his pillow. Scared every 6 months you're going to have to relocate from Little Rock, Arkansas to Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, it's like you're in a witness protection program.
It's a great
you have
point.
a radio show.
I don't want to do that.
No. That's why I put out the tweet. I put a preemptive tweet out because I knew you were going to be all over this thing, and you're always looking to do more shows. So I figured you'd probably already had your resume and a tape sent out to the PD at whatever station this is. I don't even know
Houston.
what station.
No, Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City, but they got 2 stations out there. And I figured you probably already had an in, and I said, look, before you get any crazy ideas, know this. I'm not moving to KC.
Well, let me ask you this. Can't you stay here? I'll move to Kansas City.
You'll move.
I'll do the show.
And I'll do it from my basement.
Correct.
Well, I'd consider that.
We'll patch in, right? Because I'm not leaving this show.
I'd consider that.
I'm not leaving the show, man. I'm just letting you know. All right?
No, but I'm saying, like, you would consider moving to KC. Now, why is that?
I would not.
All right.
I would not.
All right, good.
I'm sticking around. Now, I would consider the only couple of markets I would truly consider moving to would be a nice, warm climate that would allow me to do this show remotely. Mm-hmm. Because I know that I would have this feeling. I would want to do the show with you, first off, but also just to talk about the stuff going on in this area.
Yeah.
Like, it would be something I still want to do.
Well, I could put a studio in my mom's place just north, about a half hour north of Clearwater, as Gil pronounces it.
Oh,
apparently.
Is that right?
That was a big topic of discussion on the SB Nation morning show.
I didn't
today.
know that.
Clearwater.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I could put a studio down there.
You could.
Without question. I'll relocate there 6 months a year.
As long as the two of us can patch in at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Right.
really all we need to make sure is going on.
Not a
here.
problem.
No. But I think as long as we can do that, for the most part, we're on to something, right?
Yeah.
Now, I just don't know. Here's the thing. People want to fire. People want to, come down and boycott. Here's the thing. Here's the easiest way in which you fix this. The easiest way in which you fix this thing is not listen to this idiot. That's all.
Well, the way he gets fired is if advertisers call the program director and say, look, we can't stand, this kind of nonsense, so we're pulling out.
Correct.
That's the way a guy gets fired.
Exactly.
I don't know if he's got great ratings or what the story is, but I mean, he's trying to backtrack on Twitter apparently, and Joe Banner even got involved and blasted him. Evidently, Joe Banner read the transcript of what he said and, crushed the guy.
Good.
Yeah.
Listen, that idiot deserves to be raked through the coals. Now, I didn't want to play the audio. Do you want to play the audio? We have the audio.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, but do you want to play the audio?
Yeah, why not?
Josh, we have the audio, correct?
If we have it.
All right, well, I was trying, it's the whole, I was trying to walk that fine line of realizing that we don't have any power in bringing something up or not bringing something up and preventing that from being discussed versus not really giving the bad guy a lot of pub. It's like Well,
to be honest, the only reason we're interested in this story at all is because it was our former head football coach. I mean, if this guy would have said this about, the defensive coordinator in Kansas City, who I can't – well, no, that's Spagnuolo now, so that would be a problem too.
Well, yeah.
But let's just say he would have said
this. I think some people would fly out there and be like, yo, you got a problem with Spagnuolo?
Oh, we'd have one guy doing a midday show by himself for a couple days because the other would go to the rescue of his boy Spags. Oh,
staking out a house.
Great.
Have this guy out there be like, hey, maybe you want to recant what you said about Spags. Oh, my God.
Oh, that would be great. No, but anyway, if he says it about a coach that's, let's say it's a Kansas City Royals third base coach, are we caring about that? Are we talking about this at all?
No, it's not so much. It's not leading off, no. But that doesn't take away. It's almost like there are a million things going on, but because one thing comes in your peripheral, it doesn't mean the 900,000, 99,000, whatever.
You're not very good at math.
No.
Yeah.
I took a computer course to satisfy my math requirement at Gettysburg
And you let
College.
the computer do all the math.
No, I programmed that computer.
Right.
That's all. That's the difference. So
point being?
My point being is that just because it hits your peripheral doesn't negate the value of it, that there are a bunch of other things happening outside of it.
The one thing that it does, and I agree with you, this gives us all a black eye.
Yeah.
In this business.
Yeah.
Because it's like, people that don't know or people that, have never heard, the guy's show, all those sports stars, they're all the same. You know what I mean? They all do. Isn't that what they always do?
Yeah, that element of shock, that element of offend. But the reality is that there are, as you mentioned, a handful of these people left. They're dinosaurs that are doing this because a lot of the PC world has absorbed that. In which you can't get away of calling some female broadcast. She looks kind of fat in that dress.
Right. No question.
Those days are over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those days are long gone. That's all I'm saying, man.
I know another guy who tried to do that and got kind of a
he did
a lot of flack.
It wasn't a try. There was no try.
Right.
It was done. But that's what I'm saying is that there's a lot of that has been absorbed now to this point. But I will look at the big picture and say that it's not a matter of, I want this guy fired, I want this guy fired. The station and the advertisers and the Chiefs, I'm sure, will put some pressure on this guy. I just don't know why people in this business. And you're right, this is more of a statement and where people can interact. 609-403-0973 on the text board. Why, at Shander Show, at Harry Mays to you on Twitter, why do people look at this platform as a reason to say just the most outlandish stuff? I mean, I never understood that. Like, I never got that. Are they gravitated towards that? Like, our fans or listeners, do they gravitate towards that?
Oh, you're saying, like, is that something that the listener wants in their talk radio?
Right. I mean, what would be and I don't want to go down the road of offending anybody, but I'm saying, like, is that what people want out of a sports talk show? I feel like the most positive and consistent stuff we get is that we aren't feigning outrage.
No.
We aren't taking, for the majority of times,
opposite sides just to get some contrived argument going. Right.
Yeah. We're not doing that, and I think there's more of an organic conversation. And it's not even like you hear these promos, two guys like they're talking sports at a bar, right?
Yeah.
Which is the most contrived, forced reality.
Well, listen, we could actually have a bar here. I mean, we could be drinking.
You could be.
Essentially.
Yeah, I could set something up behind you.
We could set something up. In fact, I'm kind of waiting for that.
Well, to be honest
with you.
Here's the reality. I hate to break any news on this program here, but there is a strong possibility that I will be relocating, not too far.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to drive farther.
A little farther.
Oh.
But the most convenient
This is
part
breaking news on 97.3 ESPN FM,
No, but
South Jersey's sports leader.
Yes.
I'm glad you played that, Josh, because I think you were just trying to insert that into the conversation and then move on.
Correct.
Like, nothing to see here.
No,
there is something to see here. What are you talking about? Where are you moving? And who are you moving in with?
Well, I am moving in with my girlfriend, as you know her.
Oh,
Angela.
man.
Yep.
This is breaking
news
on 97.3
There's the end of it.
ESPN
You only get a
FM,
chance
South
to say like
Jersey's
5 or 6
sports
things.
leader.
And then you get this. Yeah, then Gil throws in the whole station, the signal, property of Town Square
Surprise, it's not an ad for the Sports Bash in that breaking
yeah.
news sounder.
Right. More to come on the Sports Bash, 2 to 6 p.m.
We'll break it down from 2 to 6 on the Sports Bash.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yes, so I'm making that move. And I can't.
When?
Well, we're looking at maybe the next month or month and a half.
Is that right? So by football season,
I think
you
August.
could safely be in another locale.
Well, what I'd like to do is have you and maybe another person or two that I trust come over and help build a studio/man cave.
I'm not helping you move, if that's the next thing.
Well, I was going to pay you back in comfort in a studio and booze in a bar.
I'm 54 years old this weekend. I'm not helping people move.
No. I'm not going to ask you to help me move. I'm not. I would come
over and
help design.
Look at the space. Because that's what the words on all those shows now.
HGTV.
Everything's space.
Is that right?
It's a wonderful space.
You need a certain amount of flow too, like workplace flow in the room.
And
so
feng shui.
A lot of what I'm looking at are finished basements.
Okay.
In which I can, jack into the hardwire.
Gotcha.
And create a studio that also, because the beauty of what we do is a studio is like the maze cave for you, where you have a couple of TVs. So I'm going to have the ability to just sit there and watch sports, but also do my show.
Right.
With you and then my overnight solo and make sure that nobody in the house can hear me or us.
You might have to soundproof yours. See, I didn't do that. You'd have to buy that what is it? It's like foam. Almost that they put it in strips and you put it on your walls right by your microphones.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And it sort of absorbs some of the bad sound.
Yes,
makes it sound a little bit better.
Yes,
you might need that.
Okay, I agree, but to be fair, I live in an apartment building right now. I'm doing an overnight show, and I've brought up a bunch of things that have got me. Like I tore into this idiot this morning, and I've yet to knock on wood. but I've yet to have my neighbor. And these walls aren't thick. It's not like there's an extra layer of plaster.
Yeah, like, are your neighbors really there? Like, are they alive?
I don't know.
I never see anybody.
Well, I have a woman who is hanging out in the later stages of her life. She's living her best life at this point. She's doing great. She's on one side.
Okay.
And I have...
So she's in advanced years.
Correct.
Okay.
And I have a nice woman who lives next to me on the other side, where behind us, if you're watching on the streams...
Right.
Behind us...
Sort of through that wall right there. I'm going to point to it right there.
Yes, correct. Then what you get is... What? You actually get... She's a teacher. So I don't know if she's off now or what's happening.
Yeah. But nobody's ever complained.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever complained. So that's different. So I don't know if I have to soundproof. If somebody's passed out sleeping at 1 a.m., is the vibration of me yelling about LeBron James really going to wake them up? My dog will be passed out,
Yeah, your
right?
dog. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's great to hear. I will actually help you.
I just want the design.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll help you.
I want the design. 609-403-0973, the text board, at Shander Show, at Harry Mays. You get us on Twitter.
How about the Phils last night?
Absolutely. Now
we buried the lead here.
Now, well, I don't think so. I think the lead was that a lot of us in this city have spent a long time rooting for and developing a bond with a head coach in Andy Reid. And, to your point about if it was somebody else, it wasn't. It was a guy that a lot of people in this city criticized, yes, but way more developed a bond that you don't really get with head coaches. Would you say that fans have had that type of connection with anybody maybe outside of Charlie Manuel since you and I started doing this?
Well, since we started doing that, before we...
Well, Buddy Ryan.
It was huge.
But now we're talking about 35, 40 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, don't remind me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 30. It's, well, let's see, 1929. Yeah, it is about 34, 35 years. Wow. Since he started.
Yes.
In Philly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, when you look at a more modern example, Andy Reid is right there at the top of a guy. Normally it's a player. Normally it's easy to connect with a quarterback, a point guard. It's easy to connect with a goalie. But a coach, even Flyers guys, that's where it's like almost and Laviolette, these guys burned out, man.
Yeah. No, but I think with Andy Reid, with this town, it changed once the Eagles got their Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like the fan base got their ring. Now you look back on the Andy Reid period, the 13, 14 years that he was here, where there was a lot of close calls, near misses, but they never quite got over the hump. And that used to drive you insane, and it used to piss you off about him. But now that you got your ring with one of his understudies, a guy that he actually brought to Philadelphia to be the quarterback and then eventually a coach who learned under him, you kind of look a little bit more fondly at that Andy Reid time because you have your ring.
Okay,
the edge is gone.
I agree, but in this particular case, in this small, narrow example, if the Eagles had not won the Super Bowl, don't you think the reaction would still be similar? In this small, now I get it, where more people appreciate Andy now because of the Super Bowl, but don't you think in this particular case, it would pretty much be like, come on, man, what's going through this idiot's mind?
Because it's sort of like, even though the guy didn't win, he's one of yours.
Yes. More so
there's
than
a little ownership still that exists.
And outside of Charlie Manuel, who did win, I don't know anybody who never won that had that connection. And that's a great point you raised, and I didn't even bring that up initially when I was talking about the connection we have with Reid. He didn't win.
No.
And yet, still...
He won, but he didn't win the prize.
The one that we
like
wanted.
Buddy Ryan never won. He never won a playoff game, yet he was revered in this town and beloved. That was crazy.
Isn't that something else, man? Something else.
Yeah.
But the Phillies get it. There you go. The Phillies actually come out and get a victory, and it took a team that is in more disarray, that is dealing with more issue.
Oh, how about that?
In the New York Mets.
That got worse yesterday, too.
Yeah, it did get worse.
The manager had to come out twice to the media.
Isn't that funny?
And explain himself. And he had to come out the second time because the reaction to his first meeting with the media didn't include, apparently, a strict apology. Right. So he was told to basically go back in and apologize.
What was the
just
first
a mess.
conversation? Go out there and apologize. Okay, I'll go out there and apologize. He goes out there, he doesn't apologize, he comes back. The person, whoever it was who told him to apologize the first time, what's that person's
Probably Brody
reaction?
Van Wagenen, probably the general manager,
you
who's
think was,
apparently also managing the ball club.
well, that's what I mean. I don't know if it came maybe from above, like from, I don't know.
From Wilpon?
I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
somebody in between that, but if it comes from the GM, what the hell do you think the GM's response is? Dude, we just told you to apologize. What's
What
wrong
don't
with
you
you?
understand?
What don't you-
cue the Christian Bale drop
Oh,
for
my.
me that I used to have?
I don't know if we've seen
Yeah.
anything like this. You know what, though? This supports the theory, and it's only a theory, that he's actively trying to get fired. Because a man who wanted to keep his job, a man who was serious, or at the very least contrite, would come out and issue an apology first and foremost.
Right.
Not some sort of vague statement that has nothing to really do with an apology or even pointing to why he would be apologizing.
Right. Just acknowledging that he was out of line and
Yeah.
it'll never happen again, but there was
Right.
no apology the first time.
Yeah,
So,
exactly
Yeah,
right.
maybe you're onto something. He just wants to. Hey, I can't blame him. He probably has a nice house in Florida, that he'd be able to go back to for full time and collect a check for the rest of his contract.
Otherwise,
Not a bad way to go.
Yeah, because otherwise you're cooked.
Right.
Otherwise, you go in there and say, I've had enough. Now, there must be something in that contract that if you're smart, right, if you ever sign with a bad team, there's got to be something that you put in that contract that would prevent you from breaching that contract if you lost it, you flipped out. Because chances are that if you're winning, 75 games and your team is imploding in front of you, you're going to flip out. You're going to flip out on somebody. So
Dave Kapler finally flipped out a couple
yeah,
days
but
ago.
I don't buy that. All right, but the code of conduct, they have those clauses in there in this
Yeah.
contract. That's out the window. If you're this guy Callaway, you have thoroughly exhausted that point to where you could challenge a reporter and still not breach your contract. What's keeping him there? If you're the general manager,
Well, there's
if
only
you're the
what are there? 30 teams in Major League Baseball. There's only 30 of these jobs, man.
No, I'm
Well,
not saying Callaway. I'm saying what's keeping the Mets from not firing him. Don't you think that Callaway has more of a justifiable argument
Maybe
to be
the same-
fired than Kapler?
Well, maybe it's a similar thing, and Clintack came out and said that yesterday that Kapler's his manager, and the coaches are the coaches, and he's going to be here for at least the rest of the season.
Okay.
Well, who
I think at this point you fire.
you do?
Yeah.
Callaway?
You fire Callaway, you trade Syndergaard. Those are the first two things I do. Not
Maybe.
Bumgarner, the rental that you want here
But the
for a
Phillies,
team that's not going to make the playoffs.
when they hit home runs, they can win. They had 4 of them last night.
yeah, when's
Yeah.
the last time they've had 4 home runs?
It's happened.
No, I know, but I'm asking you when.
I don't know when it was.
We need to ask our crack research department.
I mean, the
Josh
top
and
3,
Hunter.
Kingery's on fire, man.
Well, yeah, he's been
Kingery,
a
Segura, and
rare
Harper
gem.
went 9 for 17 last night with 4 runs scored and 5 RBIs. And Franco awoken and hit a
First time in a
blast.
while.
He was 3 for 4.
Listen, when Jay Bruce is sealing things against the Mets,
Yeah.
that tells you how bad things are going for New York.
They only had 2 strikeouts as a team last night.
When's the last time that's
Now
happened?
that is a stat.
What do you credit this to? Gabe Kapler.
Mats, pitching, and bamboo.
Wait, you don't credit it to the pitching machine?
No.
The curveball
The curveball machine?
Yeah.
That's
A
ridiculous.
lot of curveballs last night,
That's
Harry.
ridiculous.
A lot of hangers
Yeah,
out there.
okay.
You didn't see that?
No.
A lot of hanging action.
No, the bamboo.
Yeah, I don't buy that stupid bamboo.
What's
All
his
right.
name? Brad Miller? Some guy
Yeah.
that we don't even know he's on the roster.
No.
Puts a bamboo plant in his locker.
No.
And it's supposed to be like, what was it, in Major League?
Joe Boo.
Joe Boo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out on that. All right. Check me out on that immediately.
Not my buddy Boo.
No, not your buddy Boo. Not your boy Boo. No. Or my dog Ace.
Yeah.
Not that. I'm telling you, any of these superstitious storylines, the fact that these guys want me to believe that they listened to some song in a bar in South Philadelphia and that changed the fortunes of their team. No, they picked it up because they're competitors. Now, before we break, I noticed that you're scrolling through a lot of Markel Fultz stuff, not to peek over as people can watch us on the stream, multiple areas now.
Yeah.
The scope is up, Twitch is up. I told you I found this new place where we can broadcast multiple times on the same camera.
Great.
So you're also on Facebook. You're back on Facebook. Look at this.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, look, your face is back.
Yeah, but I'm not
Facebook.
on Facebook. I don't have an account.
Our buddy Mark Asbury weighing in on Facebook, asking you to pass the purple drink.
Purple drink.
Yeah, we didn't bring that over.
Mark
here with
Asbury is the master. He was
DJ
the
Mark.
originator of the purple drink.